on the running backs in the run game. As I sit back and I look at each particular week that's going on over and over and over, I've come to a conclusion that good teams know how to run the ball. It's even more apparent as I watch the Detroit Lions get the blood spit beat out of them from a team who refused to pass the ball. And I look at teams like Kansas City who don't know that they can run the ball or just flat out refuse to or can't. Either way, they're not valuing their run game. And it continues to happen over and over and over again where you see these teams who refuse to run the ball. In fact, if you look at most statistical facts as it pertains to these later months going towards the playoffs, the good teams tend to run more and pass a slightly bit less. But the bad teams seem to find themselves in a one-dimensional vortex of mediocrity and throwing the ball consistently over and over, knowing that they have a weakness in their offensive line, similar to a team like the Chicago Bears, who have a good running back, but insist on trying to make their rookie quarterback behind a horrible offensive line look like the second coming
What if
of
their
Peyton
running backs
Manning.
are hurt?
Does not
We got
matter.
one on IR. Damian
Doesn't
Williams is
matter.
missed
You
week
still
because of
have to run the
COVID.
ball.
And
You have to run it.
Khalil Herbert got murdered in the second quarter and was not the same running back after that.
Still got to run the ball. You have to run the ball. In
They are
this
running the ball
league,
with Justin Fields.
and that's why he got all broken up the way he did, because you cannot keep this up. It's not sustainable, as Robert Griffin III. Okay, it's not sustainable, and you have to be able to run the ball.
Why you got to ask Robert Griffin III? Let's ask a boy over there in Baltimore. How's it going?
We can ask him because he hasn't won anything without a rushing attack.
He's won an MVP.
Let's talk.
And he is the rushing attack.
And that's why they were struggling that year. But that's beyond the point. The facts are this: that the good teams, not the bad ones, the good teams understand what a run threat does. I'll give you a perfect example, right? Perfect example. I'm not saying that you got to have a running back who's rushing for 2,000 yards like the Tennessee Titans, right? But they understood something. If Derrick Henry is out, I need a running back with a similar style to run. And they bring in Adrian Peterson. Fingers crossed, if he can produce anything close to what he's done, even with the Lions, he would be
76.
a good asset. Was totally not expecting that. Totally not. 76? God.
In running back years?
But let's be honest, though. Let's be honest for a moment, Combs. If you look at most of the teams, go back to any year, playoffs all the way out to, say, pretty much now, you would notice that the best teams run the ball. You had a team going to as a wild card in the Giants who upset a undefeated New England Patriots team because they can run the ball and play defense. But it started with the ability to run the ball. At some point, the NFL has gotten to a point.
Some of your best teams in the NFL right now, though, Luke G, are passing teams. You got the Los Angeles Rams. You've got the Arizona Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the Kansas City Chiefs, which I know right now they're 3-4, but I mean that's a team that's gone to 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years.
Don't really care about the 2 Super Bowls they've been to, because we all know something that in both the Super Bowls their quarterback played bad, and they were fortunate in one Super Bowl to get the win, and the other one, well, we just gonna leave that one alone, right?
They also had a running game,
and they had a run game on that second one to get there. So you have to look at it and just say to yourself, why are we consistently undervaluing the running back and the run game? Everybody wants to talk about passing because of fantasy football, but the reality is the run game is where you win games at. It's where champions are made. Nobody is sitting up there saying Tennessee is winning because of Ryan Tannehill. It's about Derrick Henry. And when you go through and you look at the Saints were smart enough to go and bring Ingram back because they knew that they needed a change of pace back to continue that, to say what? Keep their quarterback safe. Hell, they just beat a Buccaneers team with a backup named Trevor Siemian. Nobody is going to mistake Trevor Siemian for Peyton Manning. The run game sets the pace and it sets the tone for things to come. And those who deny it are in denial because it's not sexy. It's not the flashy thing. It's not great. Fantasy looks awesome, but it's not as good as the ball been in the air. And the reality is, at some point, we have to start to put the value back into the running back position and undervalue the quarterback position. It's too dependent.
Well, Luke, don't underestimate, especially when you come on the man hour, the fact that somebody won't think that Trevor Siemian might be as good as Peyton Manning because Buck has some
'Cause
crazy
Buck-
ass shit
yeah,
that comes out of his mouth, man.
You never know what Buck might say at that
I
point.
mean,
He's the same guy who picked the Lions to be 10-6 this or 10-7 this year.
You're right.
I'll tell you what.
Still a chance.
The Lions,
At
the
0-8.
Lions themselves, literally got to a point where